You and Chris are going to be in here talking about God knows what.
So, hello. Welcome, my friends, to this thing we call the Retro Show. The Retro Show is an
homage.
Thank you. You got to be a little faster on the uptake.
Well, I didn't realize what was going on.
Well, I threw it to you, man.
I was jamming to the music.
I know you were jamming to the music.
I was grooving.
You were grooving. And so,
grooving.
And so, in homage to growing up in the 70s and 80s, kind of like we sort of did. Sort of grew up.
Yeah,
kind of.
That's the rumor.
That's the rumor, anyhow. Folks, retroshow.net is where you can go to find out all about the podcast and everything that we have going on there. We have links to our store where you can get our merch. You can also find out how to be a producer. And, Chris, we are going to be talking about a brand new producer that came on the show with us. And so, yeah, pretty cool there.
Hang on. Showing my age. Got to get my specs.
Dude, I just...
got to get my specs on so I can
got to get your specs on. You'll notice, well, maybe you won't. I have new specs that don't reflect quite as bad. I actually ordered some without a reflective glare because my other ones kind of had a little...
high-tech butch.
Yeah. No, it's just an extra $4.95 when you order them.
A measly $4.
$4 but you know, when you're a producer, it's only $3. Right. So there you go. Right. See, folks, today on the Retro Show, we're going to be talking about what things used to cost in the 80s. And it's kind of a cool thing. I didn't give Chris a copy of this. I want to see how many you can guess of these when we.
Well, this is going to be a short show.
Well, we could do like the Price is Right. I can give you two prices and you can guess whether it's higher or lower.
Okay, I'm in.
So we can do that.
That I can do.
Folks, retroshow.net, as I pointed out before, for all your podcast needs, for this podcast anyway. Chris, what's been happening, brother? It's been a while.
Well, I rushed over here from putting league, and starving to death. You fed me some pinto beans, and they were awesome.
Well, thank you, man. Thank you. I do have kind of come. I've kind of got Dad's pinto beans down.
Yeah,
now.
Your dad made really good. I had a lot of pinto beans at your house.
That was like a staple there. It was. It's pinto beans, cornbread, fried potatoes, skillet fried potatoes,
and then something crazy.
And then some kind of protein that may or may not have come from the grocery store. May or may not have come from the side of the road. Who knows? I'm not telling.
Yeah,
but
I know we've mentioned that before, man, but I did. I ate stuff that I had never eaten in my life and have never eaten since.
And have never eaten since. Yeah.
For sure.
Chris, I do want to tell you about something we had going on here on our last episode that we did was the History of Rush episode, and we had a comment on that show.
Nice.
From Michael Hiblin. Thank you, Mike, for taking time to comment here. And his comment is, my first concert, a mind-blowing experience for a fourth grader. My dad and brother were drummers and big Neil Peart fans. So I got to go along with them. It was April 1st, 1982, Barton Coliseum. I was at that show, by the way, in Little Rock. In later years, I got into alternative rock, and I distanced myself from Rush. But in the last decade, I've come to reappreciate them, and now it's like comfort food. When I'm stressed, a little Rush puts the whole world into perspective.
That is an awesome show for a 4-year-old.
Fourth grader, yeah.
Oh, fourth grader.
Yeah. 8-year-old, you know.
It doesn't
all
matter.
the way up to
It's
8.
an awesome show.
It's an awesome first concert, though, isn't it?
Yep, that's great.
Yeah. So, thank you, Michael Hiblin, for commenting on that. I do appreciate it. I'm trying to think anything wild and crazy that's been going on with me this week. Just work, man.
Dude, it's just life.
It's just life. It's just life. And, it's like it's like I've often said that the years are long, man, or the days are long, but those years are short.
They are, and they're going by faster
and they go
faster.
by faster and faster. But man, there's some long days in those short years.
You're right.
So anyway, folks, the topic of today's show is going to be what things used to cost, and in comparison to what they cost now. And we're going to come back with that right here on the Retro Show. Hey, Chris, guess what?
What?
We have producers here.
We do
this
have
show,
producers here.
and they're fantastic, wonderful people. And I would even say that if they weren't supporting us with $3 a month, but especially since they're ponying up, then they get to have their name announced on this show where tens of people
At least.
will hear your name. And so here we go. We're going to lead off with Chris.
The LNC Corporation.
You do not cross the LNC Corporation.
Definitely do not cross the LNC Corporation.
Our newest sponsor, Melinda Hignite. Now, Melinda, if I'm saying that wrong and you say it's not, no, you oaf, it's Hignite or something like that, just let me know. But I think it's Melinda Hignite. Yeah.
Yeah, well, let us know.
Yeah, let us know.
Dusty Breeze.
Dusty Breeze. And then, of course, Kevin Goff. Thank you very much.
Very much.
Norton.
Chris B.
Chris B. Thank you so much. Nancy Schwartz. Thank you, Nancy. Josh Rims.
We can't. That's a cowboy
dude.
name,
That's the toughest name we have on the list right there. Josh Ramsey. I just come in off the trail and I need a little whiskey to wet my whistle.
Fran
Adams. EM. Thank you.
Bradford the Behemoth Mason.
Absolutely. And our first ever producer,
number one in our hearts,
Tanya Highland.
Tanya.
Thank you to all of our fantastic supporters.
Absolutely.
Find out how you can support the podcast by heading to retroshow.net.
Yep.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Retro Show. I knew you were probably going to fling something at my head, which is not unusual. And honestly, when it comes to having something flung at your head, paper's probably the least of your problems
Right.
there. So, Chris, do you remember?
I don't need these.
You don't need those anymore?
No.
Well, no, you're not reading. You're just answering questions. So, Chris is going to put his cheaters, his spectacles.
My cheaters back. Dude, when that happens,
Okay.
it happens all overnight.
Okay, so how old were you when you first noticed that?
So, I think I went to the eye doctor. I was like 47.
Okay, you were about 10 years older than me then.
And the doc said, "Have you had any problems seeing things up close?" Oh man, I can
tie a fishing line and I can do
set a 1-point diamond, no problem, no magnification. I can do it. Yeah. Well, he said it's coming.
Yeah.
And it was within the next 6 months. I was with Mike Racher and the boys, his son and my son. We were up on the creek, up on Dry Run.
Yeah.
And Cannon walks up to me and says, "Dad, will you tie this fly on for me?" And I'm like, "Yes." Is there a hole in this thing? And Mike goes, "Here, try these." And I've been wearing them ever since.
So what I was doing is I was reading just a paperback novel, okay, with normal paperback novel.
Which we do a lot.
Yes. And so I'm reading this thing, and all of a sudden, the words go, whomp, and I was like, what in the world? And so I started I couldn't focus. I'd focus in, then it would go out of focus. I'm like, oh no, something is amiss. So I make an appointment at the eye doctor, and he says, "Oh, no, man, you're just getting older." He goes, "How old are you?" Yes, at the time I was like 38. And so, yeah. And so Ever since then, I've worn, and I've since gone to, these are progressive lenses, which I've been wearing for about 10 years.
Are they're bifocals, but they're progressive up?
Yeah. And boy, you talk about getting used to something.
Yeah,
the first time I wore these was like,
I wear contacts anyway, and somebody said something about bifocal contacts. I'm like, dude, you're out of your mind. I'm not doing that.
I'm not sure if Debbie wears those or not. I think she tried them.
I don't know that I could do that.
I don't know if she does.
I don't know. I don't know if I could do it or not.
That'd be weird.
It might make me sick, is what I'm saying.
It will at first. It did me. I kind of got woozy, but then you get used to it, and you just get used to it where your head goes to focus on stuff. You have to move up and down to do that. So this is me focusing. I'm not agreeing with you. I'm just focusing.
Not really.
Wah, wah. Chris, do you remember living in the 80s?
I do.
Actually, if you remember a lot of the 80s, you didn't really.
There's some producers on that list that we personally know.
Oh, yeah.
That grew up with us in the 80s, and it was a hell of a ride.
Yeah, it was fun, wasn't it, guys?
Sure.
But here's what so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give you some prices. Okay. And you let me know if it's higher, lower, or right on the money. Okay. So in 1985, so I just said a good midpoint for the 80s, 1985. And, I might have been different prices throughout the 80s. But let's say a 20-inch, which was, a 20-inch television was about average size at the time. So what do you think a 20-inch television cost in 1985? $250, $700, or $500?
20-inch?
Yeah.
I'd say 500.
500, you're right on the nose.
Yep.
Now, here's the funny thing. Today, you can go out and get a 24-inch HD TV for about $150. So that's one thing that's actually come down.
So I was walking through Walmart the other night looking for something. And I don't know if y'all have looked for something in Walmart in a while, but you can't get no help in there, man. It's like Spanish style, no help. And they had TVs out. They had a 75-inch for like $400.
Yeah, it's nuts.
HD 4K, better than the TV I've got in my living room for.
Oh, listen, you would think I would be the one that would be going, Debbie, we need a bigger we're in Sam's the other day, and she's going, oh, that's just amazing. That's 85 inches. You think we need one of those? And I was going, I love you.
Yes, we do.
We haven't gotten it yet, but it's definitely in the conversation now. And it was her idea, so it's even great. But what's funny now is, so it's $150 today for a 24-inch TV on average. You can actually get them for about $100 if you go at the right time. But $150 in 1985 money would be $53.
Wow.
Yeah. So electronics has been one of the things that has come down, actually, especially when you figure in inflation.
Well, they mass produce so much stuff now, so fast,
and it's fast.
Everything's automated.
And back then, when you bought one, usually if it was bigger than like just a 13-inch TV, it was in a console.
Yes.
So you were also buying this big piece of furniture. A TV at the time was not something you put on the wall; it was a piece of furniture in there. Yep. Everybody would remember the big old console televisions.
Remember that TV that I had? I think we were living together when I bought it. I had saved my money up and I bought.
It was a 36-inch,
which was 25
inch, which was unheard of then.
Yeah, it was the first one that had the graphics on the screen with the volume and stuff.
Yes.
The green line that would
we
go
thought that was so cool.
That was so cool. 25-inch TV.
A 25-inch TV.
I paid like $700 for that, I think.
A microwave in 1985. $50 or $300?
$300.
$240.
Well, you didn't give me a choice of higher or lower.
I know, but you jumped in before I could finish talking. So
you need to give me the rules up front.
They're going to change.
Oh,
I'm just going to tell you. They're going to change.
Of course they are.
Who are you talking to? I got the attention span of a hamster on crack, and you're sitting there going, "Oh, I need rules." No, the rules.
No, they're going to change.
I laugh at your rules. Today, you can get the same microwave, same size, basically, which is a 0.8 cubic foot microwave for about $70. Yeah.
I just bought one. We got a new one above the stove a couple of years ago, and everything comes on, it spins, the lights on, but it ain't heating nothing. And the repair people were like, "Well, if you can find somebody to pull it out and bring it in," I'm like,
"What? What's this crazy talk?
Come on!" So I went to Walmart and bought a microwave. It's sitting on the counter for $80. Who's got time for that?
Cassette albums. Or
like cassettes.
Yeah.
Okay, for like music.
Yeah.
I'm making sure we're getting all the rules down before I answer.
Not like the TAC you would buy at a recorder, or Tascam, or what was that, Maxell?
An album.
Yeah.
You're buying an album, but it's on cassette.
Right.
Okay. I got this.
All right. $10, $4 or $7.
In 1985?
Yeah.
It's $10.
$6.88 was the average price then. So around $7.
I know me and Joe bought Nine Tonight, Bob Seger Nine Tonight.
Yeah.
We split it. That was a double album, and it was like $15. That was expensive.
Well, that was a double album.
Right.
So
that's why I
you
said
were
$10.
like, yeah. But about $6.88. Now, what I remember, let's talk about in 1985, you could still buy albums, vinyl albums, but they started phasing them out in about 86, 87.
Right.
And I remember I went to the local mall. Remember when the mall was a thing? And everything in Camelot Music was basically bargain basement price for vinyl albums. And so I ended up buying a lot of vinyl albums because they were cheap then.
Yeah.
Record companies, I was in radio at the time, still sent us vinyl. But vinyl was kind of, on the way out. And CDs were starting to come in at the time.
When you were at KUCA and I'd come by there and visit, y'all used it looked like an 8-track cassette.
They're called carts.
Carts, yeah.
Yeah. And yes, if you could, you would put all your music on carts because here's the thing. If you go back in the days when they did actually they'd put a vinyl album down on a turntable and play it, what would happen is that you would cue it up and you'd get what's called cue burn on it that would cause it sound like static before the song would start because you've eaten a groove out.
Yeah.
Before it started. So to get around that, you started putting them on carts.
All I'm thinking about is oh brother, where art thou? I ain't want to tell a story out of church, but there's a man who'll pay you $10 to sing into his canon. I laugh. That movie cracked me up.
That is still one of my favorite movies.
I love it. Sorry, rabbit hole guys.
I'm a Dapper Dan man. I'm bona fide. Movie ticket.
We're in a tight spot, boys. Movie ticket.
1985. $2, $8, or $3.50.
85, $3.50.
Yep. Yeah. That's about what they were then. So, and I remember that in the early.
That's all we did.
Yeah.
Honestly, that is all we did.
It was about 3.
That's all I did. Anyway.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You and I went to a lot of movies together in the 80s.
We did.
A lot.
I love movies. Though,
I loved going to see movies back in the day. Okay, here's one.
I still like going to the theater.
I do too. I do too.
The chairs are a lot more comfortable. Have you been to one of these that you got a recliner?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Baby.
Cannon's all about that, dude.
Oh, dude.
We hit one in Fayetteville. And then
Only thing is if I have a recliner now, I'm asleep halfway through that movie. No, I'm just telling you.
I can't do it.
I'll be back there. Sir, you're snoring. I'm not snoring. There's a congested heifer in here. But, okay, so next thing on the list that I put in was a concert ticket. Now, I can tell you in 1985, was it $8, $10, or $15?
I'm going to go $10.
Actually, average price throughout the nation at the time was about $15.13. So around $15.
Didn't matter where I was going.
Yeah. But we talked about this on the last episode. In 1980, my first concert I ever went to, Van Halen, August 2nd, Barton Coliseum.
$6.50.
Yeah, $6.50 a ticket. Yeah. Okay. And then Charlie Daniels, same thing, about $6.50. My next one.
Did you go to that with Chad Boyd?
No.
Okay. Okay.
I did not go to that with Chad Boyd.
Chad hit a Charlie Daniels concert.
I cannot remember who it was I went with, but it wasn't Chad.
Okay.
I think. Well, now I can't remember. I can't remember if I got dropped off there and then picked up or not. But anyway, yeah, I remember that from the concert itself. But yeah, about $15 a ticket back then. Now in 80, like you said, it was that. And then I remember, because we talked about it in the last episode, when Rush came through, they charged $12.50, and I just about didn't go because of it. I was incensed. Oh yeah, Kiss.
My first concert in '79 was $12.
Yeah,
Kiss, but that was you're paying for basically a Las Vegas style show.
You were.
It was incredible.
Back in the day.
But that was an outrageous ticket price.
Yeah.
Everybody was grabbing, but it was full and sold out.
So median house price, middle line in 1985, 35,000, 83,000, or 120,000.
35,000.
No, median.
That was my median.
Median was 82,500. That's like the middle price of all the different prices averaged together. Now,
I ain't never seen no mobile home cost no 80.
Well, no, you do say that, but back in the mid '80s, I remember even in the '90s when Debbie and I, were newlyweds, we're looking for a house, and you could buy some new construction. Now they weren't high end; they were definitely starter homes for about $30,000 to $35,000. And I think we ended up paying a little bit more than that, but for our first home. But it even then it was like less than 50.
If you move into the '90s, me and Cindy got married in '93, and we bought a house in '94 over in Bar Springs, and I think we paid $77.
Yeah,
for that little house.
I know. It's kind of like with real estate prices right now, and they're starting to mediate a little bit, but they're still.
Insane.
They're still insane, and and right now interest rates are what they are. But Debbie, she'd mentioned, she goes, well, we can get a lot for our house right now, and we got a lot of equity in this thing.
Right.
And I'm like going, yeah, but where are we going to go?
Right.
And I haven't given up on the idea that we might build in a couple of years, but still.
If I build a house, I'm building 2 bedrooms.
That's exactly well.
You can come visit, but you can't bring everybody.
Well, I'm building 3 bedrooms, but one of them is going to be an office / podcasting studio.
Yay.
If I do that. So here's one, a postage stamp.
In 85.
22 cents, 44 cents, or 10 cents.
22 cents.
22 cents is correct. Yeah. Actually,
it just went up.
It just went up to
from 20 to 22
from 20
cents.
to 22 cents. Yep. Today it's 68 cents.
Don't even get me started.
Yeah.
I've got a major company that I order stuff from at work, and they've started putting in a handling fee. Right, $29-something, $29.95 for a handling fee, and I ordered parts today.
And then they're going to put shipping on top of that.
Were $28, and the handling fee was $29.
That's insane.
And I went to the PO guy that actually calls in the orders after I punch everything in.
Yeah,
and pays for it. I was like, dude, you need to call them. This is ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
What is the deal? What are we handling here? Come on. So
somebody's packing something in a box. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, McDonald's Big Mac, 1985. $1.20, $2.20, or $1.50.
$1.50.
$1.50 is correct. Actually, it's $1.48, but I'm rounding here. Today, that same Big Mac, $5.58.
I picked up a meal for, I think, my mom at McDonald's, and I want to say it was a Big Mac meal with fries and a drink.
What was it, like $12?
It was $13.
It's ridiculous.
People lost your mind.
The past, I'd say 5 years, it is insane. The price of fast food has seemed to skyrocket, which is nuts.
And they can't get anybody to work.
And maybe that's why, we actually found there's a local restaurant here in town that Debbie and I went to eat at, and I said, I'm going to go ahead and I'm in the mood for a cheeseburger. And I'm talking like, steakhouse cheeseburger, not, fast food cheeseburger. And so we go in there, and it's like, it's almost the same price to get the full meal as it is to order a combo from a fast food place.
Right.
I was going, why wouldn't you come here, pay a little tip money, and get a much better product? Yeah. So anyway, thank you for coming to my TED Talk today on fast food prices. Cars. Base model Corolla.
Toyota.
A Toyota Corolla in 1985. 6,500, 7,100, or 8,200.
6,100.
7,133 base price. Man. Toyota Corolla.
Well,
the same car today.
They're killing people out there.
Same price today for a base model Corolla is $23,145. Right.
You know, I remember saying back, I think it was in the late 80s or early 90s. Or maybe it was early 90s. You know, pickup trucks were like running $20,000. Oh. And I'm like, where is this going to end?
It hasn't.
It's just gone. You go price a new truck now.
Okay.
$80,000.
Base model truck. Base model, and I just use Chevrolet. Base model Chevrolet truck in 1985. Just throw me a number. What do you think?
In 85? Yeah. Base model truck?
Yeah.
7,500.
$9,700. Actually, $9,719. That same base model Chevy today. Okay.
27.
$37,000 for a base model truck.
That's ridiculous.
It is. I mean, especially with pickup trucks, which is why you've seen the rise. You're starting to see small trucks come back into vogue again. The Ford Maverick, they can't keep them in stock. And it's about the size of the Chevy S10 that I had back in the day.
According to all the reports I've read, Toyota's fixing to kill the Maverick.
Yeah, I've read those too. That they already have the truck. They sell it outside the U.S. market already.
It's the Stout.
The Stout, yeah. And I've heard that too, and I'm kind of interested for when my son needs another vehicle. Mm-hmm. Gasoline. Now that is a volatile thing because gas, as we know, goes up and down now quite a bit.
I can chase a rabbit hole on that, but I won't do that because you don't want to hear that.
No, I don't. Not on this one. But $1, I'm just going to tell you, it was $1.12 back then. I checked today.
In 85?
In 85.
$1.12 in 85.
Yeah.
I can't believe it was that expensive.
Oh, no, it was.
I just can't believe it is.
There was a while in the early 80s, and I remember when it happened because it was on the news, and Dad was not happy about it.
Can't imagine.
That it went up over $1 a gallon.
Yeah.
For like the first time ever.
You know, I rode to school with three different people in before I could drive.
Right.
You, Kyle King, and Alan Logan.
Yeah.
And Kyle King drove that long wheelbase Chevrolet 60-something truck, 66, 67 model Chevrolet pickup.
You mean one of those trucks that he wishes now he'd have never gotten rid of?
We'd stop at that store down there off of Rolling Hills and get a gallon of gas and a quart of oil.
Oh, because it took a gallon of gas and a quart of oil to get through the day.
To get to school.
I checked today, it's like $2.71.
I paid $2.75 today.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Too much.
Yeah. $2.75. But if you count for inflation, based on the thing back then, it's actually a little bit less than it was in 85. Counting for inflation.
It's not the kind of rabbit hole you were thinking, but I am going to go down this rabbit hole just because I think it's important that people understand this. Gas futures are like 6 months out.
Yeah.
What they paid for oil 6 months ago sets the price
right
that day. And if you've noticed, right before school lets out, gas starts going up.
Yeah.
And then towards the end of the summer, it'll start coming back down. And
demand.
Right before Christmas, gas goes up. It's not demand. That price is set 6 months ahead.
It's set because they know that's prime travel time.
Exactly.
It's definitely.
That's what I'm talking about. It's a racket, buddy.
Oh, it is. Absolutely, it is. I'm not okay. So now we get into the realm of food, not fast food, but just food. And when I read these prices off, I shocked a young person at work when I told them one time that what I used to pay what Debbie and I paid weekly for groceries when we were first married, before we had kids.
Right.
We could sometimes get by on $35 a week at the grocery store.
Yeah.
And they were like, how did you do that? And I said, well, and so I'm going to just, I don't have today's prices here because when I call these off, you know what about they're going to be today. Right. So bacon was $1.89 a pound. Man, now every once in a while, you'll get a sale on bacon and it'll bring it down to like $4 a pound. But that's about as good as you're going to get.
It's gotten out of sight.
Yeah.
I mean, really, just bacon itself has gotten out of sight.
Yeah. Which is unfortunate because I love me some bacon.
I'm going to have bacon, baby.
Bacon. Apples, 59 cents a pound.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And, honestly now, if you count for inflation, they're actually a little better now because I've got 99 cents a pound on apples quite a bit.
Have you?
Yeah.
They've got so many varieties, man.
Well, and some of them are really expensive. Like if you get the Pink Lady Gold Chablis, whatever.
What is it, Honey Crisp? Ooh.
Yeah. But if you get you like a Red Delicious, an old school Red Delicious, which is all they used to. Okay, so when me and Chris were little tykes, you had basically two choices in eating apples. Yeah. Apples Red Delicious or those golden.
They had the
apples.
golden, then you had Granny Smiths.
And you had Granny Smiths or pie apples.
Jiminy Crick, because you probably couldn't eat that.
Yeah,
I could.
I could because I loved them. I used to ask for them.
Yeah.
Give me the Granny Smiths. Ground beef, $1.47 a pound.
That would be awesome.
That would be awesome. Sirloin steak, $2.17 a pound on average.
And that was highway robbery.
Oh,
I
back
remember
then.
my dad griping about it.
Yeah, fussing about that. Chicken thighs, 89 cents a pound.
Yeah, I love chicken thighs.
Flour, 5-pound bag, 69 cents.
How much I haven't bought flour in forever.
It depends. I generally get the store brands and stuff. I don't think I pay very much for that. Maybe $1.89, $2 a pound or something, or for 5 pounds rather. Potatoes, a 5-pound bag, 99 cents. Now, every once in a while, you'll get them throwing on a sale for $2.99 for a 5-pound bag today.
Yeah.
Soda, 2 liters, 89 cents. And that's not the Big K or the Great Value. That was Coca-Cola, Pepsi.
Me and you had constantly had 2 liters over there at the house on Faulkner. It was just cheaper.
It was cheaper.
We had an ice maker in our refrigerator.
Yeah. So we just tore them up. And we bought some red Solo cups to drink the Cokes and other things. Campbell's soup, 33 cents a can. Now, soup has gotten nuts.
I haven't bought any soup in a long time.
Because I buy to cook with. And
sure.
Stuff. And so I generally end up getting store brand there because I'm going to be honest with you, man, the Campbell's gets a little pricey.
So what was your favorite Campbell's soup, bro?
Okay, rabbit hole right there. First of all, just day in, day out, man, you can't beat chicken noodle. Old school chicken noodle soup. But I used to do.
I would eat it, but it's not my first choice.
But my first choice, if I was asking for it, Dad would get potato soup or clam chowder on there. Those were good ones, and bean and bacon.
That's my favorite.
Campbell's bean and bacon. Even
awesome.
today, I'll get some. And it's like we went to the store a couple of hours. I was feeling kind of nostalgic, and I got some tomato soup.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you something right now. Old school grilled cheese on white bread with some tomato soup.
It's really good. I agree with you 100%.
Please.
100%.
Please.
So what staples at my house were potato, Campbell's, bean with bacon, chicken and stars.
Chicken and stars.
I remember chicken and stars.
And every once in a while, chicken and rice.
I never had the chicken and rice.
Yeah.
And then, remember when Chunky came out?
Oh, heck yeah.
Chunky sirloin burger.
Sure.
I still eat that today.
Listen, man, it's the little grill stripes for me.
Right?
It's like, they got the tiniest grill in the world for these little...
Man, somebody's over here just flipping those.
Flipping them little burgers. It's a tiny spatula, man. It's a tiny spatula.
No, man, he used a big spatula. He's flipping them all at once.
He flipping 12 at a time. 12 at a time. Peanut butter, 18 ounces, $1.49.
We quit playing the game? What's the deal?
Oh, no, because I don't... we've quit playing the game. I'm just throwing prices.
He changed rules. You see how that works?
See how I do?
See, I was doing so good, he didn't want me to get 100.
Ladies and gentlemen, attention span of a hamster on crack. I warned you. You've known me.
Welcome to our life. This is how we are. This is how we've always been.
That's how we've always been. Tuna. 6.5 ounce can. Average tuna size can.
89 cents.
59.
59.
$59.
What a bargain.
What a bargain. That is a bargain for you. And on the text, when I told you the topic of the show, you sent back with 3 exclamation points afterward, beer! So what do you think an average six-pack?
6-pack of beer in 1985?
Yep.
$1.80.
$4.30. That's if you're getting Lowenbrow.
No, man.
Tonight is kind of special.
1985, I just graduated high school, Butch. We were drinking like Old Milwaukee. And wasn't $4 a 6-pack. Are you crazy?
It's
Old Milwaukee's best. The Beast.
The Beast. Was that out then?
Yes. I drank a ton of it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
A ton of it.
That explains a lot, actually. Bread, 74 cents for a loaf of bread. Yeah, not bad. Even now you can get it sometimes for 99 cents. So bread, yeah. And a gallon of milk, about $2.
In 85?
Yeah.
It ain't gone up much.
It really hasn't when you account for inflation and all
Thank
of that
God.
kind of stuff. Yeah. But, that's a little spreadsheet I put together because I'm a dork and I like spreadsheets.
He said it. I didn't have to.
I know. Really, man, there's nothing that makes me happier than a good spreadsheet.
Okay. Not with a 10-foot pole would I have touched that one. I saw it coming.
And he had it coming. I'm just telling you. Because he did it to me when we first started this.
Man, I don't think it's ever going to change unless there's something drastic's got to happen for food prices and stuff to come back down. They know they can make it.
I just don't know that they're going to, I think once they hit a certain level, there's some things that'll stabilize again. To me, what I found has been more volatile lately is eggs of all things.
Yeah, I was thinking that a while ago. I almost said it and I was like, nah.
I went to the grocery store 2 weeks ago and we got a brand new Aldi here in town, by the way, which I tried out. So they had eggs there for like $1.72 a dozen. Not bad.
Yeah.
Those same eggs, like a week later, are almost $1 more for a dozen.
There?
It's like, yes. I mean, everywhere. It's like they fluctuate. Egg prices are just weird. I don't get it. I don't know who the egg cartel is.
I ate a lot of eggs.
I do too. Yeah, that's my go-to in the morning.
Me too.
I make my own version of a McMuffin.
I was going to say,
and I've talked about that
What is
before.
your favorite breakfast sandwich from fast foods? What is it?
Okay. From fast food?
Any fast food restaurant.
Okay.
Your go-to.
Any fast food restaurant. I'd have to say, just for consistency's sake, and any place that I go, any of their stores or their restaurants that I go to, sausage McMuffin with egg is from McDonald's, to me, is my favorite breakfast sandwich.
It's funny you should say that because mine is just the Egg McMuffin, the original Egg McMuffin, no sausage.
You can't go wrong there. You cannot go wrong there.
I swear, all these fishing trips that I go on when I go fishing and I'm out of town, if I find a McDonald's, that's what I'm having for breakfast. Unless there's a diner there that serves breakfast, which I would prefer that.
Yeah.
Over McDonald's, but sometimes you don't have that option.
You don't have that option.
Or you don't know where that option is. It's there. Yeah. You just hadn't found it.
And that's what I really like to find out is when you're in a different area, a small town or something like that you can find where the locals go for breakfast. Because that's where you're going to get
good
good stuff. I can tell you a couple of places here in town. Okay, so locally.
Okay.
Locally here in town, and we've totally left the reservation of what we were originally talking about, but
that's how we do.
That's how we roll, baby.
It's our jam.
It's our jam. I've been going to Stobie's lately.
I've gone to Stobie's for years
with a bunch of guys.
Do you know what I get at Stobie's?
The breakfast pita?
No. They
corned
have,
beef.
in my opinion, they have one of the best orders of Eggs Benedict ever.
Really?
I love it.
Brad loves Egg Benedict.
And I always get Eggs Benedict with a side of corned beef hash.
Yeah.
Because they have the corned beef hash that I really like.
Yeah,
it's good. I don't want hash browns. You can put the corned beef hash right on the plate with Eggs Benedict. The holiday sauce mix is perfect.
Okay,
it is perfect.
it's funny you should say corned beef hash because usually what I'll get at Stobie's is the corned beef hash with a couple of fried eggs on it.
So you get the same thing.
And we were talking about hot sauces earlier off camera before we got here, and you covered those eggs with Tabasco.
Right.
Because Tabasco, for whatever reason, that's my hot sauce for eggs.
That's my hot sauce for eggs. That's what we were talking about. That's the only time I eat Tabasco. And I eat a lot, guys, I eat a lot of hot sauce. You can ask Butch. I love hot sauce. Tabasco's not my favorite, but I like it on eggs. That's what I want on eggs.
That's good stuff. Well, anyway, man, I think we know that a lot of things were a lot less back then, but given inflation, when you kind of figure that in, a lot of things are the same, except for electronics. Is I think what we found that electronics are a lot cheaper now.
Video games, like stand-up video games, $0.25.
Yeah.
And then when they went to 50 cents and $1, that's pretty much when they priced themselves.
They priced them out of there.
They did.
But, ladies and gentlemen, you know one thing I never did this on this podcast when you came in is I didn't give you.
Sorry,
ladies and
guys,
gentlemen,
we didn't forget about you.
Chris Curtis.
Free coffee. Get you some coffee.
We usually do this at the first, but now we're doing it right at the very end. And you know how I know it's the end of the podcast?
Wow.
Because the music starts playing.
You never know how it's going to go here, guys.
You never know. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being a part of this.
Absolutely.
We love doing this podcast, and it's even better when you come along to join us. RetroShow.net, ladies and gentlemen. You can go there and find out all sorts of cool stuff. All right? People, go out and make your day.
AMF, guys.